Do you burn for the truth in life and spirituality? Seeking truth has been crucial to my own journey. There's an idea of so-called old souls who, through many lifetimes, become natural seekers of truth. Part of my own truth seeking was going through a spiritual crisis in my early 20s. Breaking away from restrictive Christian dogma after leaving the church in a cult-like environment, questioning church pastors, and finally standing up to my own mother with new realizations were painful but necessary actions. Daring to investigate other truth, including near-death experiences, for example, and concluding with great relief that there's really nothing to fear from the afterlife. Then rewriting my spiritual cosmology through the works of Neale Donald Walsch and many others taught me to question life in ways like, how does this feel? And if it feels right deep within and rings true for you, then that's your truth in that moment. That's your literal soul in agreement. These new teachings rung true to me. If something feels good within your being, then it is good. You can trust that. And that can hold more value for you than any written word. Just because it's old truth and people gather together and still talk about it, doesn't make it absolute truth. That's a dangerous and stagnant stance to take. Sometimes we need to face the uncomfortable and be courageous enough to access higher and deeper levels of truth. As our perspective changes over time, our own truth may change as well. It's not meant to be an absolute thing, nor about standing in the perfect corner in reality. There's always going to be deeper levels of truth to be accessed. And if something feels off or low vibration, honour that feeling and avoid it. So, as I continued building this new spiritual foundation over the years, my thirst for truth would burn more brightly. I was now free to explore what felt right for me. Spiritual knowledge became a smorgasbord of opportunities, and still is. Finding a gifted medium who enjoyed chats over a cup of tea was a real blessing, and I can see she was meant to support those years of my journey. I think the spirits must have favoured me enough to allow so many questions to be asked on all sorts of levels. Some explanations I was given were gold nuggets that have helped form my truth, things Spirit needed me to know and understand. And other times things were hidden for a reason, or I had to figure it out for myself over time. In hindsight, a lot of my inquiry came from worry or simply overthinking my future. I was still learning to trust, find my own answers, and I wasn't meant to know everything as much as I wanted to. Over time I felt called into stronger forms of spirituality and started exploring left-hand path teachings and practical occult techniques. I had to balance my earlier foundation of love and spirit with a desire to access my inner power and strength, and I had already delved into shadow work previously. These powerful aspects were always stirring within me for many years. Several strong spirits such as Queen Lilith, King Belial and Goddess Astaroth came forward strongly to assist me. I learned I had nothing to fear from these entities. This was meant to happen. My mainstream mediums recognise them as part of my spirit guide entourage, and that they've returned from earlier lifetimes under different names. I was simply now ready for these stronger connections to fast-track my spiritual growth, and would have come forward perhaps earlier if I wasn't such a hard nut to crack. For a while, my rigid thinking assumed I had to discard my earlier spiritual learnings. I thought I was meant to be a purely left-hand path practitioner. It took a while to join the dots with the Spirit's help. I realised I was too light to be all dark and too dark to be all light, and that was okay. In fact, balance was crucial. No one path would satisfy me or fill my spiritual battery. The path of light didn't feel quite complete, and the so-called dark path, at least the way it was presented, seemed to lack the spiritual balance I was used to. So having trust in my multifaceted journey based on both love and power was an act of self-acceptance and worth that helped define my own calling to truth. And really, things aren't this black and white. We're all climbing this mountain in our own way. So trust your instincts and allow new realizations to flow. Embrace the nuances of your journey and allow your perspective to shift to where it needs to be over time. Your path and your truth is beautifully unique to you. In closing, how do I know that I'm on the right track with truth? Well, I recognise an inner calling to share my own perspective and experiences. I never thought I'd be teaching on YouTube, yet here I am with the blessing and guidance of some powerful spirits and a conviction and courage to feel the fear and do it anyway. So thank you for being a part of this journey with me and allowing me to share this message of my own truth with you. I hope it inspires you in some way. And so, the journey continues. Thanks for watching, and as always, may you be empowered and blessed.